Coming up, violence in Baltimore. You don't say. Huh. Interesting. I never saw that coming. Is anyone surprised? Nah, not me. I am not surprised. This happened apparently 2 days ago, but still, it should hit the news. Well, it only hit the Baltimore news, but it didn't really hit anything else because who cares, right? Some 15-year-old man was beaten by 15 quote-unquote teens, if you will. It says Baltimore, a brutal attack, a shooting outside a school, and a stabbing next to the Inner Harbor. If you don't know anything about the Inner Harbor is essentially a stone's throw from Washington, D.C. So, there you go. 3 violent attacks, and police say what they all have in common is that teenagers are involved. The picture of a badly beaten 15-year-old man in the emergency room is circulating on social media. But of course not the national news, because screw them, right? According to the police report, the attack happened last Tuesday night. The victim was taking a shortcut through New Hope Circle when 15 teens surrounded him. He is now recovering at shock trauma. I guess that's the hospital. Shock trauma. Never take a shortcut, man. Never do it. This is the first in a series of violent incidents involving teenagers. Out of nowhere, he found himself surrounded, Baltimore Police Detective Donnie Moses said. They beat him, punched him, stomped him, and then robbed him. It says this followed by a shooting on Monday afternoon on the campus shared by 3 Northeast Baltimore high schools. Oh, that can't be good. A 19-year-old student was shot in the leg outside Reginald F. Lewis High School. The victim is in hospital and expected to be okay. The victim does not appear to have been targeted. Of course he's been targeted. He got his ass kicked. Oh, God, he's a freaking policeman sometimes. Just a few hours later, a 14-year-old was stabbed in the side after getting into an altercation with 4 teenage boys by the Chick-fil-A across from the Inner Harbor. Holy crap. Popeyes, now Chick-fil-A? Hey, if you want a chicken sandwich, expect to get stabbed. He's recovering in the hospital from non-life-threatening injuries. It's really unacceptable, Mayor Jack Young said. Really? Is that all you can say? Oh, it's unacceptable. Like, oh, this crab bisque, it's a little too cold. It's unacceptable. Is that it? So you're equating to people being hurt, beaten up, stabbed to a crab bisque being unacceptably cold. God, this mayor's a... Mayor Young said his office has made a dent into getting young people into jobs, but they can't do this alone. Okay, yeah, let's get those 15 kids into jobs so they can beat up other people in the jobs. That makes sense. You break it by going into these neighborhoods and provide job opportunities for them, and that's what we're trying to do, Young said. And by putting a development in those neighborhoods that we haven't seen development in decades, and that's what we're working to do. Police are still working to identify the suspects in all 3 attacks. I mean, come on. Is this... like, you know what? If you can get out of Baltimore... Actually, better yet. No. If you want to fix Baltimore... There's one way of doing it. Very simple. Very simple. You stop voting for Democrats. Easy. But you won't, because if you know anything about that side of the east side of Washington, D.C., the southeast side, which is in Baltimore, the Inner Harbor, that area, not good. I drove through it one time. I was staying in Washington, D.C. for like about almost 2 weeks and accidentally drove through there. Not cool. I felt, I was in a car and I wouldn't say I felt scared. I felt uneasy. I had an uneasy feeling. And just out of that neighborhood, you go down and you go right into the, I can't remember what it's called, Joint Base Bowling. It has the DIA headquarters in there, and that's where I was staying at. Not DIA, but I was staying at the lodging there. And when I drove through there, I'm like, nah, So right when you come down off this long hill, you come right into the gates, and I think what freeway was there? It was like, I think it's 395 or something like that. That goes, that's the Beltway. Anyways, long story short, going through there, I myself was the only Caucasian person, if you will, and the neighborhood looked very depressing. There was trash a lot of areas. There's people pushing numerous shopping carts full of crap. I saw some guy just sleeping by a lamp pole. This is all just like within 10 minutes of driving through that area. 10 minutes, and I'm already witnessing this. Obviously, it's not Baltimore per se, but the sentiment still transfers back to that area I was in. That whole part of Maryland's bad, really bad, and these people keep voting Democrat. Why do they keep voting Democrat? I don't know, because they don't know any better. But regardless, this whole thing, it's not that if they start voting Republican, all this will get fixed. But it's a start. Because look what they've been doing for the last, who knows how many years in this congressional district, if you will. These people have been voting the same way. And what happens? This is what happens. This is what happens. But again, we come back to the same thing. When I did 5 videos on Chicago violence over like a weekend, like 5 different times. And I stopped doing it because it's like, what's the point? Nothing's going to get fixed. Nothing's going to stop. And something like here, these people, who knows why they're beating this person up and robbing him? Obviously, you can't split. I don't know how much this guy had and how much in his wallet, but let's say he had $20. How are you going to split that 15 ways? Kind of difficult. Well, regardless, this whole voting Democrat because your parents did it, and so I'm going to do it, it doesn't work. So, I don't know, maybe I got some advice for you denizens of this area. Stop voting Democrat. What do you got to lose? Lazo out.